What's up, guys? It's Wednesday. It's SJU. Roth is locked inside a bunker completing a special project, so that means the boys are back in town. Amazon's The Boys.
Yeah.
Right here at the table.
So edgy.
Very edgy. This is going to be the most edgelord show we have ever done. And you can't have an edgelord without Dan Murrell. Dan, welcome to the table.
Hello.
Spencer, you edgelord, welcome aboard.
Hello.
We got a lot to talk about, guys. Margot,
Great already.
Yeah, no, nailing this.
The dream of the 90s is alive and well in Hollywood, Joe.
Right here, yeah.
We got to get edgy
Tank
because
Girl.
they're bringing back Tank Girl.
Tank Girl's gonna happen again, probably. It's gonna be huge. The writers of A Quiet Place looked right at George Lucas and they said, no, sir. No, thank you.
What have you ever done, George?
Yeah. Get out of here, George. So we'll
George
get
isn't there anymore.
We'll get into that. Yeah, no. George is not there. Right. Colin Trevorrow is low-key trolling Dan with Jurassic World shorts. Very excited about that. And Whoopi Goldberg's is helping keep the Stephen King assance alive.
What?
With The Stand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, it's going to be big.
Cool.
It's going to be Whoopi versus Alexander Skarsgård. We'll get into that in a minute.
All right.
Let's talk about Margot Robbie being Tank Girl. So, first of all, let's talk about this for the Utes in the chat. What's Tank Girl?
It's a, I don't know, alt comic, would you say? Comic book from the early 90s?
Yeah.
Adapted into a ridiculous 90s movie.
Starring Lori Petty.
Yeah, and a unknown Naomi Watts at the time, and we've
And Ice-T.
And Ice-T.
As a kangaroo mutant.
Yeah, and we've reached the bottom of the barrel.
We're there.
This is what it looks like. Yeah, here we are. I guess, that's not fair because I thought that I really didn't like this movie. Then I realized I was thinking of Barbed Wire starring Pamela Anderson.
Yeah.
A common mistake.
No, that's fair.
But I do think that I guess it's just the only way to get a movie made is to base it on a comic book, no matter how few people have heard of the comic or enjoyed the film when it came out.
Yeah, and the writers of A Quiet Place have some things to say about that. We'll get to that in a minute. Dan, did you ever see Tank Girl?
Nope.
Right on.
Did not.
It's like
I know Lori Petty's in it, and I vaguely remember it coming out when I was 12 years old.
You know, like the really
And people
rough.
keep telling me it's good.
It's not. It's like
It's 90s.
It's like when you have a friend that hasn't seen Goonies yet, and you're like, "Oh, we gotta fix that," and they're like, "Okay."
Yeah.
It's like that. It's like the really rough John Carpenter movies where you're like, but it's
Got
still
a certain
John Carpenter.
handmade charm, as most
Yes.
movies from that era do.
Yes, well said.
Yeah.
Yes, very certain handmade charm. It is not about a girl who turns into a tank. It is about a girl who owns a tank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is the
I mean,
premise.
I knew that. I knew
Yeah.
it wasn't like a Transformers movie.
The bar is pretty low for post-apocalyptic superhero. You just need to have kind of like the best piece of junk in the wasteland.
Right.
Yeah.
For her. It's
Is she doing like a peace sign in the poster or something? Like,
she
I think so.
it seems like it has enough attitude. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Hey,
she's
the
maybe
mid-90s, everyone was
Yeah,
doing
here we go.
peace
Yeah,
signs.
here's the poster.
There she is.
Okay.
No, what I do know is that Gwen Stefani woke up in high school one day and was like, "That's it.
That's me."
And that was, yeah. I just feel.
I don't think the timing works out. on
Yeah,
that.
she was
it-
probably
didn't-
already
Didn't Tragic
touring-
Kingdom come out?
Was she
that
already
year?
Tragic Kingdoming at
they
that
were a
point?
90s
They were-
band.
yeah.
Yeah.
Ryan, can you fact check that? He's not here. I
go for
literally
it.
threw him out of the studio for actually getting on camera. I blame you guys. So let's actually talk about the story of this now that we have some very important Tank Girl context.
Oh yeah.
So this is via our friends at Collider. Hi, Perry. You do great work. So after Tank Girl, comic book creator Alan Martin tweeted that he'd heard a new Tank Girl movie was in development with Margot Robbie producing. Collider confirmed the news that Margot's production company, Lucky Chap Entertainment, is developing the project with, wow, Miles, I don't know how to say your last name. I'm great at this job. Miles Joris Payafit. He directed
French, yeah. Jolie Payafit.
He directed her in Dreamland this year. He's attached as the director. It's obviously being developed as a starring role for Robbie. It'd be weird if she set up her own production company and it wasn't like the sole job of it to like churn out
Margot Robbie.
Yeah, like
Well,
that's the point.
It's not
Sometimes
unheard of. Star
you're
Trek
right.
was produced by Desilu, which was Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz's
Brad
production
Pitt
company.
makes all the Oscar movies where he casts himself as a bit white savior part. Just a bit part.
once. I think it's twice.
Well, so you have
we'll check the tape.
you have the different branches of what an actor can do with their own with their own production company. So that said, obviously she has, apparently she won't commit until she's seen a script, which is smart, but also. What I don't know what like
Margot Robbie, tank. What more do you need?
Hey, she's
we
in
have
a tank.
go picture.
There's a kangaroo man. I don't know what kind of quality control you do with a Tank Girl script, I guess is what I'm saying. There's another girl named Jet Girl. That's
Sure.
Naomi Watts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hit Girl.
Hit Girl.
No, different franchise.
Just put
Crossover.
There's a Girl Interrupted.
Girl Interrupted,
Girl with
Batgirl.
the dragon tattoo.
The girl with the dragon tattoo.
It's a Girl-averse.
The Girl-averse. Finally.
And the girl who kicked the hornet's nest. Two different girls in this
They
universe.
are two different girls, to be completely
And the
fair.
girl in the spider's web. Ignored.
And they're thinking about incorporating the $1 Million Baby, but just wait, no, that's Hilary Swank, right? She's not a baby at all.
No,
False
she's a girl.
advertising.
Yeah, I was expecting a baby that was worth quite a bit of money. That's not what that movie was about at all.
Instead, it was a boxer they euthanized.
That also should have been.
Spoiler alert.
What about the Boss Baby? The Boss
I was about
Baby
to say that
involved?
should have been our honest trailer title for
Yeah.
Boss Baby.
$1 Million Baby.
$1 Million
Yeah.
Baby.
Oh, that movie is more true than you could even imagine.
Boss Baby?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant $1 Million.
I was like, wow, Spencer.
you were a boxing promoter?
$1 Baby, isn't that based on a true baby? I mean, story?
I don't think so. No.
Based on a true baby.
Yeah. Baby got up early this morning, earlier than
Oh.
usual. She's been sleeping good, but not today. So
No.
she is the boss.
Million pains in the butt,
Spencer
baby.
has his own Boss Baby.
Yeah.
Woof.
That's
They run
right.
the show.
Yeah.
Any fun updates? I'd rather talk about your daughter than Tank Girl.
Good thing we made it a thumbnail.
She can crawl, but only backwards, like patterned toast man. Just like you turn her the direction you don't want her to move.
I like that.
And she'll go that way.
Well, I like that you're sort of going through management training.
Yeah,
in a
exactly.
way. Like, yeah, gotta
it's
get
a lot of negative reinforcement.
Good. So, Spencer, you sort of talked about this sort of being like bottom of the barrel IP, and now we're sort of reaching like this movie was not a hit. Like, I don't even think
It's a cult hit.
Yeah, but would you?
There-
It's
but
like
it's
a
not enough
cult with like a
to-
lowercase c. This isn't like a
You could fill an AMC or two with people who love Tank Girl.
in the right city.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Our
Here comes
comment
the-
section. Get ready for our comment section.
Look over there, some fingerless gloves. There, I distracted them.
That's like. That's it. Like, does this? I mean, thematically, this is
A stack of Gen 13 comics.
Hey, you leave Fairchild out of this. I'm very excited for Abigail Breslin
Look, there's
to
a
play
quirky
Free
rave
Fall or
where everyone
whatever.
brought a pogo stick. There, I've distracted them long enough.
Love it. Absolutely love it. But yeah, are we gonna get to a point where it's like not all IPs are created equal? Like,
We've
is
gotten
anyone
to that point.
Like, yeah. So why bother? Like, is anyone gonna?
Yeah.
Would anyone give this a chance?
I don't get it. I mean, obviously, like, a new Margot Robbie movie is coming out. But 10 years ago, that would be a girl with a tank. It wouldn't be based on a comic book, however loosely they adapted the original source material. Like, I don't get it. I don't get why they think that matters anymore. Like, there's been enough high-profile IP failures at this point that if you're not a Marvel or DC comic book, why? Like, where's the
yeah.
built-in?
You can get a Mad Max Fury Road out of it.
Maybe, yeah.
course
I
it
mean,
could,
best
yeah.
case, Proto Noah in the chat says lower sort of tier IP deserve adaptations too, and I mean, I guess, but it's not really like a question of deserve to me. It's like
But Tank Girl to me is one much like Dread that seemed like it's got potential and that was not perhaps realized in an earlier iteration. I would be more concerned if I were Margot Robbie about like not getting automatically typecast as the sort of like spunky comics girl, like with Harley Quinn and Tank Girl, which, it's just like trying not to put myself too much in one box, but at the same time, she's got I, Tonya, and I mean,
to
she
bounce it
is
out.
a great, she did Mary Queen of Scots, so it's not like these are the only kinds of movies she's doing. It's just something that I would try to be conscious of, but at the same time, I think that you almost have limitless potential in that. I don't think that anyone's going to be upset if you're not slavishly faithful to the last movie, because Dredd was nothing like Judge Dredd. Yeah. It was a great movie.
Yeah.
So I think it's a possibility that this could have some promise. And
does this work better if you do old tank girl, like old girl tank? I'm trying to old man Logan tank girl here, and just do like a Netflix series of Lori Petty. Like,
oh yeah, that'd be awesome if you could. She was the maybe bright spot of that was her and Naomi Watts,
because she's awesome. By the way, Lori Petty, probably one of the most underrated actresses of our time.
I don't think you need to do the handoff of the tank itself, the passing of the tank. But it'd be cool if you could at least honor the people involved in the original, if not the extreme 90s-ness of the original, unless you want to do like a meta. Like, we're making a 90s movie in 2019.
Filming it with Pogs.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, Captain Marvel already did that, so.
True.
Yeah.
True.
We're in the 90s.
Just a girl, Gwen Stefani.
Which brings us back to...
I do know Captain Marvel was set in the 90s? It's very subtle. I don't know if you were able to pick that up during the movie. It's something that not a lot of people might have noticed.
Yeah.
In between Stan Lee reading the Mallrats script on a train and the needle drop of Now That's What I Call Music Volume 3. But Captain Marvel was set in the 90s.
There is a happy middle ground where X-Men Dark Phoenix, a movie we may be talking about more soon, set in the 90s with zero acknowledgement or care or reason given to the decade. So there's a happy medium.
Yeah. I honestly was hoping for like Xavier or Magneto or someone to look into the camera and just be like, they're coming for us. Tell them to come as you are. And we didn't get
Captain Marvel
any
also
of that.
did that already.
Yeah, true. They definitely had to.
They literally had a needle drop of "Come as You Are" in the movie.
Yeah,
they cut
did.
to a record playing
on
"Come As You Are."
Yeah, I forgot.
I think it may just be that Captain Marvel took all of the '90s comic book references and put them all in one movie.
Do you think there's literally just a whole special feature to be made of the '90s references that ended up on the cutting room floor of Dark Phoenix because they were like, Carol took it all.
Right, because they changed the whole third act, right? Allegedly, because it was too similar to Captain Marvel. So
scrolls.
Maybe there's a whole Quicksilver needle drop sequence set to "I'm Blue Dabba Dee Dabba Da" or something.
Barbie girl. Just some good Aqua.
Yeah.
Hello, Bobby. Let's go party.
Well, this would be in like '92, so it'd be more like some Pearl Jam or maybe a little Alice in Chains, Seven Mary 3.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Toad the Wet Sprocket.
Yep. Oh, guys. So let's go on to the other sort of like realm of the IP wars in movies. So apparently the writers of A Quiet Place turned down a Star Wars and an Indiana Jones. This is via MovieWeb. So the writers of A Quiet Place, Scott Beck and Brian Woods, revealed that they met with Lucasfilm after their film's success, but very bravely, we're not interested in taking on a Star Wars or an Indiana Jones project. Brian Woods said, we went into Lucasfilm in the wake of A Quiet Place, and they wanted us to talk about Indiana Jones and Star Wars. And we were like, we want to talk to you about what is Star Wars before it was Star Wars. You guys have a responsibility to start a new franchise. That's where our heart has always been, just trying to create original ideas. Scott Beck followed that up by saying, without giving away too much, it was simply ruminating on if we did an Indiana Jones movie, what would we want to see in Indiana Jones? Or if we did a Star Wars movie, what's that chapter of the whole universe that we would want to see? So it was very much an open canvas talk. It started going down the line a little bit, but again, as Brian said, it's just not our DNA. We'd rather create what the next Indiana Jones could be. React, boys.
It's a bold move. Yeah. Go ahead,
couple of mixed feelings. First, I mean, I think it's admirable to sort of have this thing of like, we're not just going to cash in and just write whatever's the next chapter in something. We're going to follow what we want to do. That's good. I like that. But at the same time, it's like, what? Do you think they were bringing in just like Radioland murders? Like, what did you think? Red Tails 2? What did you think you were meeting with Lucasfilm about? It sounds like they were doing like a social network thing. Like they showed up in a bathrobe and like dropped a card that was just like, I'm original, bitch, on a card and walked out of the room. So, it's both. It's like, I find that very admirable. I'm glad they're sticking to their guns and they're going to make the kind of things they want to make.
But there's also
at the same time, when you take in 2018 or whatever, when you take a meeting with Lucasfilm, I think you kind of have to know what you're getting into.
One of the two. Yeah, I mean, that's very... I love the confidence in their own abilities, and that will carry them beyond A Quiet Place, because, like, everyone, they got that meaning because they have a hit original concept, but it's like, now you have to do it again forever or be out of a job if you're unwilling to take, like, paychecks. If you're unwilling to lower yourself to take on Star Wars or Indiana Jones, like... How many other senses can you take? Bird Box already took sight. You've already taken the hearing. Touch, where no one can taste.
Numb. It's called numb.
Damn it, Dan. Copyright 2018.
Dan Murrell.
We found it, boys. Yes. See, well, you can double up on senses because now we have C.
Jason Momoa's C.
Jason
right.
Momoa's C.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can do some more here stuff.
Yeah, they could. I don't know. It's... Yeah, I guess we all have mixed feelings about it because it's cool. You want to see somebody say, like, F you to the big guy, but also you want to feel like if you were in that position, you'd be like, oh, I want to make another Star Wars. Yeah. Oh, I have thoughts on Indiana Jones.
Or you just merge your senses idea into that Star Wars thing, and, like, Qui-Gon's like, reach out with your feeling, and he's like, I can't feel.
I can't feel anything. Sorry, I'm looking something up right now. I'm not.
Do it. No, do your thing.
So
it's like, and Dan, we've lost Dan.
Sadly, Indiana Jones in a coma isn't, like, the worst starting point for a pitch. That he's completely diving bell and butterflied, and like only the twitch of his hat can tell you about his old adventures. And then they flash back.
Hey, I was looking up to see if they were writing the sequel. They're not. John Krasinski.
No, yeah, Krasinski's writing it himself. But yeah, this did make me like picture them as like, I don't know, like greasers or something, like walking in like flicking toothpicks into George Lucas's face, like, what are you made?
Yeah, walking out like Peggy on a Mad Men, like with the box, like smoking a cigarette. No, and just like, I said no to Lando. Ping.
Yeah, just like yeah. When are you gonna make the next big idea, George? He's like, well,
I made Star Wars and Indiana Jones and a film called Red Tails that we were really hoping you had some new ideas for what other tales they could be. I guess
George Lucas isn't there. He was meeting with Executron 3000, whoever runs Lucasfilm now.
It's 7 guys all named Matt.
Yeah, exactly.
Speak as one.
Yeah. Lucas is up in the Napa Valley,
True.
Yeah, over at Skywalker Ranch, which I got the worst tour of when I did a...
Oh, yeah.
I'm definitely not complaining about the ability to go to Skywalker Ranch. That was amazing. But I was so excited. And then by the time we got there to take a little bus tour of it, this was for Rogue One, it was nighttime. And it's
a
pitch
ranch.
black out there. It's a ranch. So there's no lights anywhere. So they're like, this is the beautiful lake where the Ewoks were shot for Endor. And you're like...
Mm-hmm. Sure it is.
Yeah. I am in Bird Box.
Did they have those racehorses from Last Jedi wandering around?
Probably.
And like, banthas and...
I might have walked by several. I have no way of knowing.
Dewbacks? Dewbacks roaming around?
I actually may not have left my hotel room. The press person from Lucasfilm might have just come in, turned off the lights, spun me around 6 times, and was like, welcome to Skywalker Ranch.
Fair enough.
So, hey guys, like and subscribe to Fandom Entertainment so you can watch SJU every morning. It's like this, but varying degrees of better and worse sometimes. It's a mixed bag. It's live TV.
Only talk about what the news gives us, man.
Yeah,
Sorry.
exactly. Every morning I just wake up as a stress ball because I look at Twitter and I'm like, nothing. Spider-Man hasn't been bought by Paramount or something yet?
I was reading an interesting story about that Bones lawsuit that we talked about.
Ooh, you want to talk about that Bones lawsuit?
No one cares. It only affects the future of how deals are done in this industry.
Oh, okay. Well,
I would much rather hit pause and talk about. You seem interested in Bones.
Yeah, I am, but I want to come into it both guns blazing.
Okay. So. I like it. Yeah, no, full boned. I appreciate that.
Back tomorrow to enter the Bone Zone with Dan Murrell.
Yes,
talk is ready.
Speaking. I have no transition
Here you go,
to this.
Joe. It's queuing you up.
Just nailing this.
That was a little sabotage on my part.
No, absolutely. No, we will always go to the Bone Zone here on SJU. Guaranteed. So one thing we do want to pause and talk about, though, real quick. September is Suicide Awareness and Prevention Month. We're trying to use the show a little bit to not just ramble like morons about Lori Petty and Bone Zones, but also to like... put some spotlight and some love towards organizations that we feel deserve it. And one of those organizations is Stack Up. They are dealing with very serious problems that affect a very highly at-risk portion of our population. They bring veterans and civilians together through a shared love of video gaming. They serve U.S. and allied service members, veterans, and civilians alike. This one's big to us. This is a big cause to us, both because we know these guys. We've been able to work with them before, so there's a face to the name for us. There's a personal aspect. Dan, I know you share your life with a veteran that's super important to you.
Yeah.
One of the things they do that I really wanted to sort of like focus in on today is their Overwatch program. So they have basically a unit of people that are trained and certified specially to assist in crisis intervention, suicide prevention, and issues concerning mental health. They provide peer-to-peer mental health counseling and support for veterans and civilians 24/7 through their Stack Up Discord server. That is at www.discord.gg/stackup.org. We will add that link to the description, as well as their website, stackup.org. So please give them some love. Check out the website, find out a little more, and we will continue to highlight those guys throughout the month.
Yeah, and I mean, as we mentioned, today is Suicide Awareness Prevention Month. It's an important issue today and every day and every month. But I think also here in the U.S., but also abroad, this touched a lot of people, and certainly ramifications touched a lot of veterans and military service members and families. But today in particular, I think is probably a difficult day for a lot of people. So I think it's just important to know that if you're struggling, number one, you're not alone. Number two, there are so many resources available to you to get through this day. If it's difficult for you, I think it's difficult for most of us in varying ways, but also every day. It's just important to know those resources are out there.
Yeah, so I mean,
we can help spotlight.
Yeah, and it sounds so silly to say, but like the fact that they're focused specifically on like gaming culture and fandom and stuff like that, I think there's something to be said for someone that like zeroes in to sort of be able to engage with you and connect with you like through the things that you like. Obviously every help is good help, but I think there's something really special about being able to connect with someone over something specifically about their interests and what they care about, and I just think what they're doing is really, really cool.
Yep.
I'm gonna I have no talent at transitions in and out of this. This is a weird show where we sometimes we talk about business and sometimes we talk about organizations like Stack Up, and then sometimes we talk about very passionately that Dan would marry the Arby's oven mitt.
Yes.
It's a weird show. It's a weird show. We're really glad that you guys are with us on this journey. No, it was yesterday. It was good.
That's why I got demonetized.
Yeah, I guess that's what got us demonetized was my professed love for the Arby's oven mitt.
Oh my gosh, I'm so frustrated by this. We G-rated a very certain game as much as we could yesterday.
Yeah,
we talked dating, marriage, and breakups.
Implied man on mitt imagery is enough
apparently
these days.
Man, really shook up YouTube.
If you can tell us why yesterday's SJU got demonetized, please tell us, because we're sort of mystified.
I think someone just was listening to it and got so horned up imagining Dan in an oven mitt.
I guess. I don't know. For everyone that asks, like, why do you censor yourself so much?
Yeah.
They literally will just take...
It's because apparently someone rear-ended the car in front of them listening to why Emma would or would not marry Mary McCheese.
Yeah, I don't know. Something about Grimace being left outside of a... where were we leaving?
A Denny's.
A Denny's. Disturbed somebody to the extent that someone decided that it really limited access program.
Really needed to be flagged.
Yeah.
Really. Speaking of things that deserve to be flagged and demonetized, they made more Jurassic World stuff, you guys. They made a Jurassic World short film. This is via Collider and Colin Trevorrow himself. Trevorrow made a surprise announcement that a brand new Jurassic World short, Battle at Big Rock, will debut this Sunday on FX following a showing of Jurassic World. He told Collider, Battle at Big Rock is a short film that takes place 1 year after the events of Fallen Kingdom. So this is 1 year after Blue, I guess, murders everyone in that subdivision he was looking at the end of the movie. Or maybe this is about that. It's not. It's about a family on a camping trip to Big Rock National Park, about 20 miles from the last film ended. There's been a few sightings, but this is the first major confrontation between dinosaurs and humans. The war my pastor
But honey,
always warned
aren't
me
those
about.
woods full of dinosaurs?
Don't worry, babe. I've got it.
I have bear spray. So I really want that to be the first line of the movie.
Are you
But, honey,
sure we should bring the kids?
Where else are we going to tell them about our divorce? Trevorrow said, Universal asked if I'd be interested in making a short film, and I didn't give them any time to reconsider.
That's how he keeps getting
Good line. I wrote it with Emily Carmichael, who's co-writing Jurassic World 3. It felt like a first step into a larger world. Hey, Ben Kenobi, after the last film, you have these animals loose in an unfamiliar environment. They're disoriented, struggling to adapt. The first people they run into are bound to be camping. I wanted to see that. So it's an 8-minute short film that was secretly filmed in Ireland over 5 days and includes 2 species of dinosaurs not used in the Jurassic films before. He said, we didn't have all the resources we're accustomed to, but limitations are good. And they are. I agree with that.
Sure.
And none of the limitations mattered because everyone showed up ready to kick ass. No one's ever shot a Jurassic movie in Ireland. The crew was fired up. The cast was fully committed to making 8 minutes that could stand alongside the movies. We were a family. We believed in what we were doing. It felt like an indie film, but with a massive animatronic.
Animatronic, you say?
I'm listening.
Okay.
I'm listening.
Yeah.
He just turned me from a non-believer to a to faithful.
Sure.
I like an animatronic dinosaur.
Well, look, this isn't going to be a great take in advance, but okay.
Ready for it.
It's 8 minutes. He could squeeze 8 minutes of good dinosaur on tent content out of a Irish crew, I guess. But otherwise, like, why does this exist? What is content these days? Why are we getting this?
Hey, Dan.
Dan,
You're
no.
usually the one that we harangue into screaming about this until you're frustrated and uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Do that.
All right. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
I'm excited about this.
Yeah.
Whoa.
One of my big problems with Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom was that it ended exactly when it got interesting. The idea of introducing dinosaurs en masse, not as one-off halfway Godzilla fourth act like they did in Lost World, but the concept of Jurassic World actually being a world of dinosaurs and having to actually coexist with humans. The fact that they ended the last movie exactly when they got to that point,
When they promised what was in the title?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's extraordinarily frustrating to me. It's the first. If this had been the concept of the first Jurassic World movie, I would have been way more excited by that film.
Sure.
Over the years, my thoughts about Jurassic World have gone through so many filters and through so many iterations and movie fights that I think people think that I'm upset just because it exists, which is not true. I would have loved for Jurassic World to have been a more original, a more exciting concept. And I feel like this is beginning to explore what I think is the first original kind of take on what can be done with dinosaurs and people since maybe the first movie. So I will watch this, and I hope it's good, and I hope that it's a preview to what perhaps could be an actually interesting and different and intriguing last movie in this franchise.
Until they get to Dinosaur Galaxy.
Yeah.
Spencer, you gonna watch this? You're not gonna watch this? You gonna watch this with the kid?
Where do you watch 8-minute shorts? Like, where is this going? Did I
On
just have-
FX, following a screening of Jurassic World.
No.
I'd like to clarify, I will not be watching Jurassic World before.
No, yeah,
My
especially
thoughts
not
on
the
Jurassic
TV
World
edit.
have not changed.
Just put it on YouTube. If like what? This seems like a deleted extra, like a DVD extra or a deleted scene. Like, at least give us 11 minutes. That's like Act 1 of a sitcom or something like that. But like an 8-minute, like it's just a sketch. You made a dino sketch.
Are you about to start complaining about 8-minute abs? Like
Yes.
beginning something about
7-minute abs.
You can't get an ab workout in 6 minutes.
I guess it boggles the mind of like, why bother to me? It's like you flew to Ireland to make an 8-minute short dinosaur thing. Like, you're making focus on the movie. You're making a 3-hour, I assume, Dinosaur Island meets, Land of the Lost, whatever.
There are dinosaur movies in this dinosaur movie franchise?
Yes.
Sure.
Focus on Jurassic World 3. Give us one good Jurassic movie before you make these little dalliances, these little family vacations that you're bringing
Spencer,
in animatronic.
firmly against dinosaur side pieces. I dig this, honestly. I give Trevorrow a rough time, but I can see coming from, like, I just made an indie hit to just getting tossed into the pit of, like, studio notes and here's a ton of money and, oh, the whole thing's already been prevised, to the studio being like, would you like to make a small indie thing again? And just sort of being kind of hungry and desperate for that. Yeah, I'm into this. Obviously, it could be terrible. It could be great. I don't know.
Now, if 1 minute into this 8-minute short, they all run into a mansion... and then the whole short is inside that mansion, I'm going to be very upset.
Dino House 2?
Yeah.
Dino House 1.5?
Yeah. That's not going to be... I'm not on board for that.
Spencer, would you be happier if this 8-minute short was a different point of view from a different character during the events of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom?
No. I just think he's in movie jail to me, and I don't think you should be allowed to do anything fun until you do something good. And I think that until he does something good with this franchise, you don't get to. You have to give me one good movie.
What will fix Book of Henry for you? Like, what will get him out of movie jail?
The extended cut for one
of Henry. Sure.
Yeah.
The books of Henry.
Chapter 2.
Chapter 2.
Yeah, and more Tremblay.
I hear that.
Gone too soon.
I hear that. More.
Spoiler alert.
I've got a fever. Mm-hmm. The only cure is more Tremblay.
Ghost Tremblay.
Ooh, I hope he ends up in this.
Yeah.
Like Ghost Tremblay appears like, don't go in there. There's dinosaurs.
Also, I heard how to kill your neighbor.
Here's a book.
Here's a book. Also, I heard you're getting divorced.
I left you all the clues. Different.
Just realizing this is a very Collider-heavy episode. You guys are doing great work. Hey, Perry.
And only Perry.
Perry. I just really like Perry Nemiroff. I think.
I do too.
Yeah,
sure.
Great lady.
All the fine people at the Colliding.
Great lady. The Stand has rounded out its cast, so this is another CBS All Access thing, continuing the Stephen King of Sants that we're in the midst of right now. A lot of Sants going on right now. There's the Keanu Sants. There's the Stephen King of Sants.
What has made up, though, the Stephen King of Sants, besides it?
Pet Sematary, The Stand.
I mean, he's just getting a lot of
Pet
things
Sematary was
greenlit.
not a very good.
Dark Tower. You didn't like the new? I liked it.
The new Pet Sematary?
Yeah, I liked it.
Not so much.
That's fine.
Well, he's getting a lot of movies made.
Dark Tower
Yeah.
was also not a good movie.
No, not at all. I didn't say this was a good Assance.
see.
We'll see.
Yeah.
It's just a Sans.
No, you have to
Yeah.
to be a Sants. It's got to be good. Otherwise, we've been in the reconnaissance since like 1998 because he's been
And
making movies.
thank
forever.
God.
He just happened to string along like 4 good ones.
You're right.
In
I
the
guess
space of a year and a half.
Well, let me ask you this.
Sans is Italian for quality.
Yeah. I don't think we're in a King of Sants. I think we're just in a King of Palooza.
Woo! We're in Kingstock 99.
Yeah.
And Green Day's about to throw mud at us.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Cool. During an appearance on The View, where I go for all my Stephen King content, he revealed more cast members.
Chopping it up with Meghan McCain.
Yeah, absolutely.
Take my money.
My dad loved the original It. That's a rip on her dad. She just brings him up every 2 minutes.
And allegedly loved Honest Trailers? That's a whole...
He did. Have we ever talked about that?
Well, let's fact check that first before we bring it up on camera.
Okay.
We'll have to go trace back some threads to see if I'm remembering that correctly.
Yeah, I think you are.
No,
ask
it was.
Pac-Man.
I remember what the story was, which was one of our most popular sponsorships, and a lovely parting gift from Defy Media before they disappeared forever. Was that the Army sponsored several Honest Trailers? We didn't know that was going to happen, and then they were like,
We were pumped about it.
You're sold. Here's the Army. Goodbye. Anyway, but we were told that the approval for that had to go, because it was technically government money, had to go to the Armed Services Committee, and that again we can't
Senate.
confirm this. This is just what we were told.
Yes.
Was that
allegedly
hardcore
allegedly
got in front of Senator John McCain, rest in peace.
Yes, sir.
Who, again, the information we were given was that he enjoyed Honest Trailers and approved the sponsorship.
Still the weirdest.
It's one of the weirdest things that's ever happened to us, and a lot of weird stuff. I don't want to get demonetized again. Has happened over the last 7 years.
No.
But that
It's the weirdest thing that happens is I did.
Us saying this. This is what we were told.
What we were told.
That's what we were told happened.
Weirdest political connection I've ever had since I played short form improv games in front of Donald Rumsfeld once. That was weird. That was a weird experience.
Wow, yeah.
Playing Helping Hand.
Did he shout out suggestions? Do Saddam. Wow.
I honestly don't. It was all such a blur because, like, right before we went on stage, the artistic director of the theater, came back and was like, he could have not told us anything because I don't think I would have had the wherewithal to be like, oh my God, that's Rumsfeld. But like,
That's Rummy, front row.
right before we went out, he was like, I don't want anyone to freak out, but Donald Rumsfeld is like in the second row. Don't make jokes. Don't engage with Donald.
Wait, somebody came out before a comedy show and told you not to make jokes.
Well, no, about Rumsfeld.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Don't engage. But then the whole time, it's like being like, don't think of rhinos right
Yes.
now. And so
I'm mixing this pancake batter in Iraq.
I mean, oh God.
New choice. Iran. Afghanistan.
New choice.
No, because if this was a comedy sketch, they would say that, and then they'd come out, and you'd be like, does anyone have suggestions of where we might lose our car? And Don Rumsfeld just goes, Baghdad.
I heard a dad that loves bags.
Yeah,
no, that's not what I said, and you know it.
Now, was this a corporate event, or did Donald Rumsfeld just like to visit like the San Francisco underground comedy scene?
He's a big alt comedy
No, this
guy.
was this was Florida. This was like a Florida resort
The
town.
world's saddest USO show.
He was on vacation with his
Gotcha.
family, I think.
Wow,
Hey,
that's something. Where were we?
We're talking about how
remember,
we're
man.
Oh, The View.
We're a
The View.
government side.
Back to The View.
Right, yeah.
Back to the View.
And back to The View. So Stephen King revealed more cast members for CBS All Access's adaptation of The Stand, including you have Depo from The Leftovers, Owen Teague, James Marsden is in this thing, and Alexander Skarsgård will be playing the Man in Black, Randall Flagg, who also connects to the Man in Black in The Dark Tower. That's one of the little
Sure.
Dark Tower-y references.
And Walk the Line.
And walk
Yep.
and yep
And
Men in Black and Men in Black. Yeah.
Everything's content.
Yeah, all is content. And Whoopi Goldberg will be playing Mother Abigail. I think I'm the only person that's read The Stand. Have you guys read The Stand?
I started The Stand. It's 1,000 pages, Joe.
Yeah.
I read the
Yeah.
unabridged version, and man, that could use a bridge.
I was actually right around.
That's the one I read.
Right
And,
around
oof.
it. I read / listened to it, and then I believe it was you or multiple people. I was like, oh, I'm going to jump into The Stand next, and I just got this from
Yeah, I was
10
like,
people.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so I did not read.
I
The
was
Stand.
enjoying it. It's not bad if you like
No.
post-apocalypse.
Did
I
you do
got
the whole
waved
thing?
off on The Stand.
Did you do the whole thing?
No.
I got waved off on The
you
Dark
go.
Tower. I got waved off on like literally anything else Stephen King that I was like, oh, I'm going to start this. People were like,
There's a few that I think, like, beginning to end, he, like, nails pretty well. Like, Salem's Lot, I think, beginning to end, solid
Pet Sematary
story.
I liked. I mean, that's not a.
I might be an outlier on Dark Tower. I think it falls off, but a lot of people will like nail me to a wall for saying that. So find out for yourself. But The Stand is definitely one where, yeah, it starts out like killer post-apocalyptic, and then it just dovetails into a weird story about a guy who can't have sex with a lady.
Yep.
But
I read the
it's
Wikipedia for the rest of it.
yeah, good. That was a wise decision.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is they will definitely be abridging this miniseries of The Stand quite a bit. But I love James Marsden and Alexander Skarsgård pairing off.
Yeah.
I dig. Let's talk about this sort of big picture CBS All Access arms race. Star Trek, The Stand. Where do they stand with the rest of the giants? Is anyone going to stick
they've
around
got
for
Twilight
CBS All
Zone.
Access?
Going very
and
niche.
Twilight
Not
Zone,
niche,
yeah.
but very genre.
Yeah.
Very much like we're heavily into the sort of sci-fi genre, which, hey, nobody knows what the hell's going on right now. So that's as good a strategy as any to sort of say, like, we're going to go in this direction.
It's just
Yeah.
a weird branding thing for me because when I think CBS, I think, Chuck Lorre sitcoms and I think people, who need catheter advertisements and stuff like that, who are keeping television alive, linear television alive. So like to do this streaming service that's like, maybe nerd adjacent, if not nerd focused, like just call it, Screen Junkies Plus, or call it like, Nerdcore Plus, Gold Elite. CBS just, I don't think CBS when I think Twilight Zone or even Star Trek. So why?
Yeah.
Well, I think that's the burden for me because I
they want you to.
They both aired on.
I know they did, but it's just like that name today carries with it.
I'm sorry.
No, different Star Trek.
Star Trek aired on NBC, but when I was growing up, Star Trek aired on CBS. So I apologize for my very snooty, which was not correct.
Because they still do drama on CBS All Access, right? Or they still have
do The Good Fight.
Yeah.
And they've got other shows that are on CBS All Access,
like the Tonys and stuff. It just seems like a weird mix.
Yeah, it's like a weird mishmash, which doesn't, I feel like, bode well.
It's hard. You kind of got to focus these days, or have everything. One or the other.
Yeah, you've got to Disney, or you've got to be like all horror movies made for less than $200 all the time. Like you've got to serve that audience, or you just have to serve all of the audiences.
ASMR car detailing videos.
And that's it. And always a plus. I did almost blow up the channel this morning because the headline we were going to go with was going to be from Pennywise to Randall Flagg, because I got my Skarsgårds crossed in my head for a minute. That would have been bad.
I was thinking of, when you said Alexander Skarsgård for like the first 15 minutes of the show as we were approaching the story, I was thinking of Peter Sarsgaard.
Sarsgaard or Skarsgård.
Yeah, I'm glad that we eventually all coalesced at some point in between talking
would have been
about, the Army and Tank Girl, that we got our Sarsgaards and Skarsgårds in line.
What's Stellan doing? I think Stellan needs a Stephen King story.
He's going to play the truck in the Duel remake.
Like it. Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
I think you're thinking of Christine. Duel is a Steven Spielberg movie. Christine
Peter Sarsgaard was
the
in
truck
Duel.
Movie, and the car movie, and the truck movie is vertical terminal velocity. Yeah,
that doesn't sound right either.
That's different. Maximum
Overdrive.
Thank you.
Terminal Velocity is a Charlie Sheen movie.
Velocity is a Charlie Sheen movie. It's all content. Yeah, we're all short circuiting.
That said, who should star in the eventual reboot of Terminal Velocity starring Charlie Sheen? Go.
Charlie Sheen.
A stick of right guard.
Trick question. What I was trying to get you guys to do was to cast the new Face Off. It's officially a stick of right guard versus Charlie Sheen. They want their face off.
Could do worse.
That's the show. You absolutely could do worse. And that's the motto over here at SJU on Fandom Entertainment. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.